Well, shortly after this wonderful meeting, Christy and I are going to spend the rest of the afternoon interviewing new staff for the university, and therefore I've got to cut my speech down to a little less than an hour. I've got two speeches. I've got one in my left pocket and one in my right pocket, and I'm not going to do both of them. So I'm going to choose the one that I think is really important, and I find the thoughts in it really moving. A few years ago, I started to enjoy speaking at retirement events. I think dread turned to enjoyment when I understood what a privilege it is to be asked to speak or to be responsible for making a speech. This transformation started to happen when long-standing colleagues started to leave, people I'd worked closely with for many years, people who had touched me so very closely during my working life. I realized that when they left, a sizable bit of what was important to me was leaving with them. Today it's my turn, and I again feel dreadful. Dreadful because I will be leaving behind me a very big part of me. My wife, Lynn, describes Bath Spa as the fifth member of our immediate family. Rewarding, demanding, difficult to control, at times like a difficult teenager. And today, responsible for a strong sense of loss as we bid farewell. My two sons, Jack and Tom, are 23 and 25 now. The baby. The fifth member of our family, Bath Spa, is also 25, and I'd like to think that for Lynn and me, our job with this family member is done. Well, to cut a long story short, I've learnt a few things in 25 years, and I wonder if I can share something of what I've learned. I've learned, and Chris touched on it a little while ago, that the most desperate thing is when a loved one dies. Whether it is a close colleague such as Tony Dewberry, or many years before that, his PA, Joe Whiteley, or someone you never met but became close to through their family's grief, as I did when one of our students died. We're measured by how we behave when those tragic things happen. I've learnt that it is the most fabulous thing to have diligent, honest, loyal, hard-working colleagues who care passionately about the place they work and the work they do. I've learnt that the most precious tool in work is trust. Being able to trust others and being trusted. There's a book by Stephen Covey called The Speed of Trust, the one thing that changes everything. And one of the chapters in that book explores intent, which is considered in the book alongside integrity, capability, and results. And it considers the cost or tax on your ability to deliver, depending on how you view the intent of others. And it asks the following questions. How often do I discount or tax what someone says because I am suspicious about that person's intent? What kind of tax is my organization paying because employees don't trust management's intent? What is the impact on speed and cost? What kind of tax are we paying as a team because we're suspicious of one another's motives? What kind of tax am I paying because people question my own intent? And what can I do to improve and better communicate my intent? At Bath Spa, I've been responsible for negotiating a number of very large projects, and I'm sure that reciprocal trust has been essential in delivering all those projects. Reciprocal trust. But I've also learned that it can work unilaterally. For some years, I've had pinned to my notice board what I think of as a poem, but it originated as a pamphlet called The Silent Revolution, written for student leaders in the 60s, and it's called The Paradoxical Commandments. Some of you might have seen this and wondered what it was all about. The author saw a lot of idealistic young people go out into the world to do what they thought was right and good and true, only to come back a short time later discouraged or embittered because they got negative feedback, or nobody appreciated them, or they failed to get the results they had hoped for. The author then wrote the pamphlet, what I call my poem, and it goes something like this. People are illogical, unreasonable, and self-centered. Love them anyway. If you do good, people will accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives. Do good anyway. If you are successful, you win false friends and true enemies. Succeed anyway. The good you do today will be forgotten tomorrow. Do good anyway. Honesty and frankness make you vulnerable. Be honest and frank anyway. The biggest men and women with the biggest ideas can be shot down by the smartest men and women with the smallest minds. Think big anyway. People favor underdogs but follow only top dogs. Fight for a few underdogs anyway. What you spend years building may be destroyed overnight. Build anyway. People really need help, but may attack you if you help them. Help people anyway. And finally, give the world the best you have and you'll get kicked in the teeth. Give the world the best you have anyway. I've loved my time at Bath Spa because I've seen a large number of people applying those principles. Nearly there. I was recently asked to record a personal history of my time at Bath Spa for the archive. Towards the end of the session, I was asked if I wanted to identify some Bath Spa individuals who had had a significant impact on me. I said, no, there were far too many to single any out. However, I was wrong, and I'd now like to name a few. They're a representative few. I can't name everybody, although I'd really like to. They are Frank Morgan, my boss for 23 years. He was never a friend, but he was a great boss. Maggie Thomas, one of my deputies for almost as many, and the most hard-working of all my colleagues. Stephen Ward, where is he? You could not find a more modest and yet high-achieving senior manager. Christine Eden, you could not find a senior manager more committed to her students, probably the only dean then still teaching. Kevin Wright, one of the nicest men I know. John Seabright, without doubt, the most brilliant man I know. Julian Amy, a complete gentleman, a selfless governor. Jane Conybeare, a complete PA, the most thoughtful of friends. And Christy Slade, the most visionary leader we have ever had. But the most exceptional of all is my good friend and mentor, Ron George, without whom I would have been but half the man I am today. Thank you for coming today, for making it so memorable for me and my family, and for being good enough to listen to me. Thank you.